Greetings, I am Emmett. I like to make stuff, but specifically, I like to make gifts. If I have an idea for an item that I know a family member would like, I keep it in mind for whenever Christmas or birthday seasons roll around. The thing is though, sometimes inspiration doesn't strike until the last minute. Specifically 3 days. That seems to be the sweet zone of like how much time I need while still rushing as much as possible. Normally, with your basic project, I like to give myself about a week to account for my daily schedule. But if it's anything bigger, I like to have cushions. Which is why with my series of videos showing all the projects I made for my siblings this year, I mentioned that I started in September, because I wanted to make sure I had enough time. And I did end up having a bit of time. The whole goal was to not have to rush, because I rushed so much, I wanted to actually be able to relax. But it just wouldn't be the same holiday spirit if I didn't have to do a last-minute gift. So this year, my parents discovered the mistletoe meme, and they were quite tickled by it. It made my dad laugh, and so my mom developed an obsession with making him a mistletoe. I wasn't too concerned with it at first because I just thought it would be simple enough. All she needed to do was get a toy missile, get a toy toad, and duct tape them together. That shouldn't be that hard. Well, there seemed to be a strange lack of frog or toad toys available. My brother likes to collect turtles, and whenever he's looking for turtles, he always finds frogs. And now that we're looking for frogs and or toads, we can't find any. So tell me how that makes any sense. Who knows, maybe it was a Jingle All the Way situation where just this year everybody saw the mistletoe meme and wanted their own toad, so they just bought up all the frog toys. But anyway, it was like 3 days till Christmas, and she didn't have any mistletoes, so I realized, I'm gonna have to make one, aren't I? Okay, I can do this. I didn't record it just because of how rushed it was, but here is the mistletoe that I came up with. It's not just a mistletoe, it's a specific character that I came up with. I couldn't stop myself from thinking, why does this toad have a missile? It must be some kind of militant toad, like an army commando toad. A command toad, if you will. I gave him a little beret, a little cigar, and I think he looks kinda cool. My original plan was to make him out of the usual foam clay that I use, but that stuff has given me so much trouble with the length it takes for it to dry that I decided to use some old, cheap bake clay that I had. It's just the stuff you find in Walmart in like the kids craft section, so it's not the highest quality of stuff, but I was able to work with it since I only had 3 days. It basically just took a day to sculpt it, a day to paint it, and then another night to stick the missiles on top. The missiles are actually pens. I cut out the kind of the middle section and then glued the tip back onto the back, so it looks like more of a stubby, correctly contoured missile shape. The fins are just cardboard. I mean, the whole base of it is just cardboard. I thought about trying to design and make a more believable looking, like, missile launch pad that he wears. Like the Jericho missile on Iron Man or something like that. Something where it actually has a mechanism that looks like it could function. But I only had a few days to figure that out. Plus, I mean, it's the mistletoe. I'm already putting probably more work than it needs into figuring it out. But I'm glad that I did, because it was a gift for my papa, and it turned out pretty good. But that wasn't the first time that I had done that, obviously. I'm talking about the trend I have of making last-minute gifts. I've made quite a few, but here I shall do a breakdown of the highlights, the big-ticket items. So, rewind to my sister's birthday this year. In previous years, I had been making her a lot of like tough female figures. I had made her a Furiosa and Eowyn. Next on the list was Mulan, but I wasn't sure how exactly to do it, because sometimes turning two-dimensional characters into three-dimensional figures works, and sometimes it just looks off. So I was trying to work through my process with my brother Wyatt, and he made a comment about like just doing some sort of combination of the two, like making a two-dimensional figure, if that makes any sense. I started to think about that, and I came up with a 3D poster. I printed off this poster, this awesome looking poster on a full sheet of paper, and I used one of my filming lights as a light box. I put the paper over it and traced out the silhouette onto some cardstock. I cut that silhouette out and then traced it onto foam and cut it out of that. And I just built it up layer by layer. I kept tracing down the elements, starting with the shape of her and the horse, then cutting it down to just her, then just her armor, and then just her sword, and just layered it out piece by piece. And then I painted it and added all the cool lighting effects by hand. I got some bamboo for the frame, and it's a three-dimensional poster. This was probably one of the most rushed ones, just because I was really cramming to get it done in time, and this is a new concept for me. I hadn't made a 3D poster before, so I didn't know how much time to allot myself, but I was able to get it done, mostly because I stayed up till 3 several nights in a row. Chirpy boy, chirpy boy, chirpy, chirpy boy. You're such a big baby, you know that. Rewind to Christmas of 2020, and my family discovers the Christmas Chronicles movies, specifically Belschnickel.
Belschnickel! Belschnickel.
I build all the best toys around
Belschnickel.
here. It's about time I get some of the credit.
Belschnickel! Belschnickel. Belschnickel.
Belschnickel ran away from the village.
Stare into his eyes. Look into his soul. Because he's definitely looking into yours. I think. Where are his eyes looking? This was another example of a time when my brother just made a comment about, like, where's my Belschnickel merch? Like, I said that in the Primal video. He wanted Primal merch, so I made him Primal merch. This was the other example. He really wanted his own Belschnickel. He was joking about it. I'm not going to accept that as a joke. As far as I'm concerned, he actually wanted Belschnickel merch, and I'm pretty sure he did too, because then he was like in awe of my craftsmanship. Look at his little boots. His little anarchy hat. Belschnickel's got his act together. He's the full package. I used actual pants to make his pants, so that's a real waistline. Got all the paint smudges on his vest because of graffiti. Was I saying something? I felt like I had a train of thought I was trying to follow. Cubby really wants to be in this video, so I guess I'm just gonna be holding 2 adorable little creatures. But yeah, this one, I want to say I had a little more time than I normally did, but it was still like a somewhat last-minute thought, and I was staying up pretty late in order to pull it off. I did take some footage just with my phone of the building process, because as I was making it, I was just like, oh, I'm doing this. Okay, I want to chronicle these events because this is a very unique set of circumstances.
Just what's love?
The torment begins, and why has it already been here?
Love!
Wyatt also likes popcorn tins. He buys a lot of popcorn tins when they come in season. So I grabbed a couple of popcorn tins and like put them over him. So he's in a little egg, a little Belschnickel egg that you crack open and you see his beautiful face poking out. Oh, Belschnickel, you magnificent bastard. Now we go back to the beginning, the one that started it all. The Vault Boy on the shelf. Back in like 2017, we were in the theater for The Last Jedi. I'm pretty sure it was the second time that we were seeing it, because like the first time we went on opening night, just us kids, and then we saw it again with the parents closer to Christmas. It was just a few days before Christmas, and I hadn't come up with anything for Tucker, but since he had been playing Fallout, and we'd been talking about Fallout and stuff like that, then somehow he and Wyatt got into a conversation in the theater while we were waiting for the movie to start about Vault Boy, and it somehow resulted in the conclusion that there should be a Vault Boy on the shelf. Like the elf on the shelf, except it's Vault Boy. As soon as I heard that, I was like, well, I know what to make for Tucker now. So I was already technically staying up late, because like now it's common for me to stay up late because I've sort of embraced my writer side that just throws sleep to the wind. I want to finish this chapter. But back then, I was still, well, just for context, my dad thinks that the day starts at 4 in the morning. So being raised under his roof, it was somewhat unheard of to stay up ridiculously late. So we were up till like after 11 talking to the movie, which to us is late. And the whole time I was just waiting like, when is this gonna wrap up? I kinda have things I wanna do tonight. Eventually everyone went to bed, and I came down to my room and started making Vault Boy on the shelf. That was the first time that I ever stayed up till 4. I stayed up till my dad woke up. All for the sake of Vault Boy. I didn't get him done though, it took me a couple more days. Like I think I got like the body sewn together and stuffed, and then it took another day to make the head and paint it and do the hair. But obviously I got it done in time for Christmas because none of these stories are failures. Failure is not an option. You just have to stay up until ungodly hours of the night. But yeah, that night, somewhere around 1 o'clock, Tucker actually came down to see me. He was up and about, and he saw my light was on, so I was working away on Vault Boy, and then I heard steps and like, Emmett, are you still awake? So I came out of my room and was standing in front of the door like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Nothing to see here. Anyway, we got talking, and he told me about this crazy idea he had to start a YouTube channel. At the time, I didn't know how any of this worked, so I was like, wait, any random schmuck can just start a YouTube channel? You don't have to like get in contact with someone at YouTube and like fill out a forum or something? No, like if you have a YouTube account, it's as simple as uploading a video, hitting a button. That's essentially it is. Hit a button, make a video, you have a channel. And that's what got me here today. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and have a nice day.